We're kind of going to go into it. We've got a mixture of conversation and music and artists and creativity. We're going to have a wonderful, wonderful night tonight. And I'm pretty sure there'll be opportunities for you to chime in, ask questions, and, feel free to share as well. So before we go anywhere further, I kind of want to start by saying we're asking you all an individual question. In as few words as possible, what does it mean to you to be a Black woman? I'll start with you, Poetic Lily.
Empathy, empowerment, love, joy, strength, melanin. Everything. It means who we are, really.
Absolutely.
Resilience, you've said strength, community, family, worrying, sometimes burdened, but creative, and always, ultimately, hopeful that things will get better.
Right, as little words as possible. For me, it just means to be me. That's who I am. I walk with that all the time. I don't really remember a time where I haven't been Black and proud. Or, well, I probably do. Yeah, that's not true. But I don't remember a time where I haven't just accepted who I am. That may be the generation that I am. I don't know. But that's who I am, a Black woman.
Very interesting question. First of all, what size are those? That's part of being a Black woman, you know what I mean? I like those. I would have to say, more than anything, it's like a VIP club. It's a legacy.
Yes, absolutely.
I agree with everything. I don't want to repeat anything. I don't remember a time where I didn't think that this was the top blessing. I got that some people might not get it, but that's what I say. That's the VIP, is to be this.
South London, isn't
I think what was also really wonderful to hear as these women were sharing was to hear your when you can just say a few words and people can really identify because you've been there, you've experienced the highs, you've experienced the lows. I love what you said, Cecil, about the worry. And I think there's a sense of worry that Black women feel and experience, mothers as well, that potentially is very different for other races as well. So
High
thank
blood
you.
pressure. I didn't want to.
I want to come to you, Debbion. Just in terms of progression of Black women.
Progression.
Yeah, because we've spoken a lot. We've had chats in the past, and you're someone who's really nurtured your children, and you've really seen them progress and grow. But I guess in your own journey as well, what would you say? How have things been for you as a Black woman in terms of progression within this society that we live in?
Okay, so I would say that my what is that gene? I can't remember the name of it now because I forgot to put my HRT patch on, and I think I've lost some brain cells today. But that thing of not quite believing. What is that thing you all talk about, young people? That gene. I've forgotten it. Sorry. My so-called progression has sort of stop-started around children, and also kind of around education as well. So I was a bright person that didn't really fulfill my sort of potential in that respect, because living in South London in the 70s, 80s, there were lots of things that I realise now were obstacles. So, and I wasn't probably not as clever as you. So I went that kind of creative art, dance route. And I think that's really stayed with me. And I passed that on to my children. I'm not sure I'd have gotten through without that, if I'm really honest. I think I could have had I been more of an academic person. So all the things I wanted to do, like I wanted to dance, I wanted to sing, I did all of that stuff a little bit. And then somehow my kids sort of carried it on and did great things with it, and are still doing great things. But now I feel like where I am now is at the age where we're quite invisible as women. I'm like late 50s, and there's a lot of stuff I want to do now, so I'm doing it, irrespective of what anybody thinks. And I have to say that I feel that being a Black woman literally gives me the strength to do anything I want to do. Because I don't really, I don't know why. I have white friends that wouldn't dare me. I'll do anything. You know.
Well, let's go into that. You know, that this because I have a lot of thoughts about this strength as a Black woman. You know, it's almost like sometimes we have no other choice. We have no other choice but to be strong. But also sometimes I find that it can be, I don't know what the word is, sometimes to our detriment sometimes, because we then carry so much and it becomes overbearing, it's too much. I wonder if, Cecil, you can maybe share a little bit more about the strength of a Black woman.
In terms of strength, as I got older and now became a grandmother 8 weeks ago for the first time.
Praise God.
What it is that I now understand my mother, and I've been trying to fulfill the expectations of my mother, a woman who was denied a lot because she was born in a situation where she was not part of the marital situation. So she was colloquial in the Jamaican context and outside picnic. And that plagued her because she felt that she was denied opportunities. Her father was a politician in Jamaica. She came from privilege, but she didn't benefit from that. And my mother had 9 children. I'm the eldest of 9 children, 7 were girls. And she always said to us, "You as my girl picnic must achieve." I'm hoping that it's not all about fulfilling my mother's expectation, for my mother has since passed. But what I was able to gather from her own disappointment in herself, her own frustration, but what she did in her humblest way, because my mother was a nurse, she instilled in us resilience. I don't like to use the word strength because I agree with you. Black women disproportionately suffer from high blood pressure. Black women disproportionately die of breast cancer. I can give you a list of those symptoms and conditions that are reflective of Black women's struggle in this society. And those physical manifestations of our struggle doesn't help us because we die sooner than we should do. Sorry to say that. So we need to be careful with this strength thing. I prefer to use the word resilience and how we use our situation and find ways of navigating and acting and finding solutions, either within our community, within our families, or within ourselves, or amongst other Black women. It's a long answer, but I don't like the word strength. I don't like it. I think it's burdensome, and it can be dehumanizing because we are vulnerable. We're one of the most vulnerable demographics in this society. Never mind about that young woman who got murdered, Rachel, or whatever. Black women get taken upon, beaten up figuratively in society. as part of our daily existence in many ways. So I'm dubious about the concept, the notion of strength being linked to black women, because it means then people can throw at us what they want and do what, because we're going to take it. And to me, it conjures up a notion of slavery and
But, you know,
accepting. But that's just
No,
my
yeah,
perception.
Just to follow on,
Yeah.
during the pandemic, I had a bit of a health scare, and I didn't feel strong. I felt really, I didn't know where to go with it. And I decided to write to 5 or 6 black women that I knew and said, you lot need to support me. And they didn't know each other. Tara's one of them. These women didn't know each other. They all just knew me. And I cannot tell you how brilliant that has been for the last year. We've all supported each other. These women that haven't actually met, but we have got that thing in common. And I didn't want to be strong. And I knew that these women were not going to set me up to fall. They were not going to tell me I was a strong black woman. They knew I was scared. Does that make sense?
Oh, 100%.
Whereas everybody else was acting like I was this, this strong. Yeah, so I agree with you. It's bullshit, really.
You had I'm in agreement. You had a term where you spoke about choice, and I do believe I have a line I have a lot of songs and poems, but a particular line that says ability to cope is a gift, not a test.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And to be strong when you need strength is a blessing. Vulnerability is a strength when it's necessary.
100%.
Absolutely.
So even the opening question, what is it to be a black woman? I know many types of black women. I know extroverts, I know introverts, I know introverts. I'm an extrovert. I know those to be different phases. My sister and I, when we grew up, I was the one who was loud. She was very quiet. People called it shy. Took me a while to realize she was just really smart. Half the people she didn't talk to, she shouldn't have talked to, and I probably shouldn't have spoken to either. I run towards the fire, she runs away from the fire. I learned about her later and was able to apply things that I didn't think I had, but I have. So choice is very important. And I think recognizing our multifacetedness, recognizing that we are all of those things, recognizing that we have the ability to respond and that we have so many incredible examples. We've got examples who did real bad with it, a grandmother that you can't talk to no more, an aunt that you just want to, I'm going to say it to her, why do you talk to me like that? And it doesn't ever make sense because she's never there for that, because you don't get what she's been through and you're trying to bring her to where you are. And if she ever told you where she, there's so much to us. And I think that's a very important aspect is choice. And is recognizing that the ability to cope is a gift. It's a blessing. It's something that to have that resilience, to have a well to draw from, to know how to pray when you need to pray, to know how to act when you need to act, and to have examples, good, bad, and indifferent, of people who've managed to survive through extremely trying times, much more trying than now, differently. So not to say that it's not trying now, because every man feels that his burden is the heaviest, and it truly is, So choice, and recognizing that the ability to cope is a gift.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. This needs a rubber. I think in one way, shape, or form we've shared, really powerful and pertinent things. And I think I'm kind of just thinking of the thread of the conversation here, and something that kind of rings true to me in what you're all saying is about the power of vulnerability. And actually also acknowledging that, saying that, hey, I'm not strong right now, I'm feeling really, really weak, that's a sign of strength. It's difficult to say I'm struggling and being able to embrace that. And I think as Black women, I would love for us to just step into that, so much more. And I know Poetic Lily and a lot of the work you do, in addition to your poetry, is very much about giving women the freedom to do these things. Tell us a little bit more about that. I know you're going to perform for us shortly, but I think, the work that you do in giving a space for these conversations to happen, I think is really powerful.
First of all, I like to say it's okay not to be okay. Can we say that? It's okay not to be okay. Yeah. And I'm a crier. I do love a good cry, and I call it cleansing your soul, because we do as women, as Black women, we hold the burden, and I do feel that it's just we have to make it very blatant to our young women that it's all right to be vulnerable, and you can be strong and vulnerable at the same time. So as Aminata was saying, my mission, I feel like my soul's purpose is to kind of help women to turn their pain into their passion, and that's a big part of it. It's a big part.
Well, you're going to do a little piece for us now.
I am. Oh my God. I'm geeked though, because literally, I'm such a big fan. So I'm so
God bless
geeked. I was gonna actually sit where you are.
Yeah, come on.
Oh dear, you see what I mean? Libation. But I like to say we move. We move. Hopefully that's not any electrical fault.